Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here with your weekly source of Kill Team news. That's right, it's the Kill Team intel drop for the weekend of the 28th and 29th of January. First things first, if you've never been here before, we're going to talk about tournament news, so what happened over the weekend. We're going to talk about community news, whatever that may be, some hot news that's happened this week. Redacted. Redacted is just anything. In general, it's going to be my hobby. But yeah. Whatever. And then upcoming tournaments on next weekend, which I believe is February 4th, 5th. If you want, the point of this is that you can find people in your area that you otherwise didn't know were there. That's the hope. Bringing the community together. Likewise, most sane people don't like randomly scraping BCP for interesting news. I'm doing that for you and then delivering it to you here, hopefully in a quick manner. Just so that you know that, hey, things are going on. We're getting like 15 tournaments a weekend now, which is really pretty good, considering that a year ago we were getting like 3. So really awesome. Also, please, first things first, go and check the pinned comment. You will see something there called the Kill Team Player Locator. Go and check that out. That's a great way. Drop a pin there yourself. It's an interactive world map, and you can drop a pin and you can put like your contact details in the area you are, or you can find pins that are already there and you can find tournaments or events near you. There you go. Go and do that. That's the whole point of that's how you find. The more people playing, the better. Okay, let's get into it. So obviously this weekend was huge, absolutely massive. We had Las Vegas, the LVO, which was So it was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the Friday was, by my understanding, unrelated to the rest. I think they were just like a bunch of casual games, but that's cool. But I'm not counting those because, essentially Las Vegas had like 7 tournaments or something insane, 3, happening over the weekend. What I've put here is a top 8. It was 87 players that turned up in the end, which is a bit crazy because they did sell 100 tickets, but 87 turned up. Okay, those 13 people, who knows, right? Death, disease, all these things. That's why they couldn't go there. But before we cover Las Vegas Open, we also had happening over in Europe. We had big stuff happening in Madrid with a big invitation. We'll cover all that later. Let's start with the smaller ones here. So obviously, first off, Abilene. Oh, wait. We don't want to see me for this. Boom. Oh yeah, that's great. Isn't it nice that my natural background color does just look like the ocean? That was smart. Abilene in Texas cancelled, unfortunately. Phoenixville cancelled. Now when I say cancelled, that means when I go to BCP, I cannot see the results. The implication is that it was cancelled. I don't know why anyone would put their event up on BCP and then not fill it out, but you never know. And then Ellicott City also cancelled, which means that Hamilton Town with 9 players had Vetguard first, Hunterclade second, and Intercession third. Pawtucket, which was a 5-man tournament, I would say wherever we're Rhode Island, is that a thing? I don't know. Had Talons of the Emperor, and then Space Marines, and then Space Marines. Now, you might think, oh, that's clearly a compendium tournament. No, because 4th was Pathfinders. But again, 5-man, so the crazy things happen, right? Okay, let's talk Las Vegas Open. So this was hosted by Dakota Luster from Squad Games. And he also has the, what's it called? His Twitch channel is called Luster's Workshop. He does a bunch of terrain, acrylic, cut stuff, a lot of proxy, not proxy, but like, tokens, that sort of thing. He's a shop, essentially. And he also hosted the Las Vegas Open tournament. It was good stuff. It seems like it was very well ran. I certainly didn't hear any complaints. It was all good. With that said, 87 players, tough tournament to put together. I believe it was his terrain on every single board, which again is a huge amount of terrain. Las Vegas Open was entirely core boards, open boards, no Into the Dark at all, okay? So, top 8 were Gellerpox, Pathfinders, Intercession, Wormblade, Breaches, Blooded, and Intercession. I forgot the N on that one. So 2 intercession, 2 breaches, but everything else is unique. So in the top 8, you have 6 unique teams. It's not bad going, honestly. And I think if you stretch it out to the top 10, I think they are 2 additional teams as well. You still don't double up. So in the top 10, having 8 unique teams, pretty good going, let's be honest, when you want to look at the balance of the game. Gellerpox was run by Orion Wilfong. He, I believe, is the same Gellerpox player that won the Invitational, beating out Ace with his breaches. So pretty cool. This was all streamed over on the Luster's Workshop Twitch channel if you want to go back and watch the VODs. Twitch VODs are such an interesting one. You know, like, I don't really know what the actual interest of people watching just, you know, a 6-hour VOD of people playing Kill Team is. It can be interesting, but if there was a market there, I feel like more people would be doing it. So I'll throw it out there. If you guys just want uncut videos of games from a top-down perspective, let me know. I can get you 2 a week. That's not hard to do at all. All right, moving on. Are we moving on? Can we? Yes. We go over to ye olde Europe, the mainland, if you will. What have we got? So, let's start with Blekinge in Sweden. It seems to have been cancelled, or again, at least, the BCP results weren't filled out. We have Galicia, which has no data. It was an 8-man tournament, but pass. Not sure why there was no data. It was a really odd one, so it filled out. It was a completed tournament, but like the first 4 players just hadn't put in their faction, so I can't really say anything about it. A little bit frustrating, but there we go. Berlin, a 4-man, and therefore I put all of the teams that were playing there. Legionary, Pathfinders, Intercession, and Hyrotech. Now, obviously, the fact Hyrotech is last is almost entirely circumstantial in a 4-man tournament, but whatever. We have which one should we do next? Andalusia, 10-man, Farstalkers, High Fleet, Hunterclade. Well done, High Fleet, coming second there. Look, obviously compendium teams are not as strong in general as, you know, the specialist teams, but High Fleet are great fun to play. If I wasn't currently mentally prepping to go and play on tabletop, and so I have to not be a noob, I would probably be playing High Fleet right now. There you go, yeah, but whatever. I can't do that, partly because Play on Tabletop has already seen the High Fleet team, so I can't do that. But yeah, anyway, so that's cool to see. And then over in Granada, again, a 10-man, Death Guard at the top. And I do believe that generally people agree Death Guard and High Fleet, well, and Talons, but ignore them because they aren't here, are kind of your top 3 teams from Compendium. So it's not too crazy in a 10-man tournament to see both of them in the top 3. They then have Cadre Mercenary, who are, in case you don't know, the Compendium Tau, and then Starstriders third. Let's go up to London. 29 players turned up, which is odd because I thought it's a 28-man tournament. I don't know why there was a 29th, now that I'm thinking about it. Gellerpox took first, Corsairs took second, Hunterclade took third. I did not go to this. I was free on the weekend, but I didn't know I was going to be free until like the day before, so I didn't quite have time to make it down, and obviously the tournament was full. But that's cool. It's a good way to start the London wargaming scene for the year. I can't remember when the next one is, but it's probably going to be at Bad Moon Cafe in 1 to 3 months, I assume. We then have Valencia with 30 players. Oh, sorry. The London tournament was 50-50, I believe, Into the Dark and Open. Valencia, 30 players, also, I believe, 50-50, Open and Into the Dark. Corsairs took first and second, which is super weird, and then Blooded took third. So, really interesting. Really interesting. Now, it's worth noting, and I could be wrong, I could just be completely wrong here, but typically, Valencia would have involved several of the players that are in Madrid. And so maybe that's why we're seeing a different list of teams coming first here, or, you know, in the top 3 podiuming, because the better players, let's just say that, I suppose, or whatever, the more frequent players, whatever they may be, have gone to Madrid instead of Valencia. Either way, 30-player tournament with double Corsairs. Terrible news for Corsairs players. I guess it means we're just not going to ever get that 10th model. Real shame. But we then go over to Madrid with 16 players. Now, this was talked about in my previous intel drops. So if you want more stats on like number of players and like number of factions, etc., then go and check the last intel drop. However, it was Star Striders with Ace with Star Striders. Then it was Carlos with Breachers, and then it was Tamir, I think, with Legionary. So this was the invitational for Madrid. Roughly, if you've been playing for the last year, you've built up your own ICT points, and then you get invited to Madrid, where the best can play the best. I really like it. I also think that 16 is a better number to play than 8. Normally, like the GW Invitational was an 8-player invitational. I do think 16 is a much juicier number to play around with. So good stuff there. It would be lovely to see if GW would take the hint, but they won't. So there you go. I don't have much more to say about that, unfortunately. It was streamed. One of Madrid or Valencia was streamed. I'm not sure which one. And I did drop in very briefly to just say hi. But obviously it was all in Spanish. So as they talked very, very fast, I heard the word Star Striders. I heard the word Imperial Breachers. So I was like, oh, okay, Breachers are playing. And then Legionarios. And I was like, oh, that's probably Legionary. But that was all I heard. So there you go. And that's kind of it. So we go over to the rest of the world, which obviously isn't great for me there. So Lima, Peru, 17 players, no data. Yeah, a bit of a shame there. Obviously, things are happening over in Peru, which is awesome. But when it came to filling out BCP, they were slacking. Couldn't see it. I'm just going to say it. Wangara, pass. Don't know. In Australia, the TO had not released the data, so I can't tell you who won there. And then we have Mortdale in Australia, which a nice big 22-player tournament. Void Dancers took first, Legionary took second, and Void Dancers took third. Don't know much more about it, but it's good to see. I believe that is also the largest tournament for Kill Team Australia has seen so far. So very cool. Ooh, okay. A mere 13 minutes to cover last weekend's tournaments. Amazing. Let's wait for it. And guys, you know what it is. We all know what's coming. That's right. If you're a subscriber to the channel, I would like to give you a big double hello. Wow, wasn't that so wholesome? Chaps, chapesses, chapai, double hello. Live your best life. Stay hydrated. That's very important. Get enough sleep. Mental health. It's a thing. It's a struggle. Life is a struggle. But moving on from that, if you like this absolutely ridiculous content that I occasionally make for this channel, the support would be incredibly helpful over on Patreon, because let me tell you, as this is probably my second time in January where I've really been able to see the lower ad revenue in January. Oh wow, I've never made so little. This is genuinely the least I've ever made on YouTube this month. So awesome, great. Right in time for me going to the States on the back of my ad revenue. So awesome. Also, Vantage Point podcast, that's going to start releasing again soon when I can pull my finger out and start releasing it. I also have a Discord where I talk about Kill Team, and a lot of other people who are probably better at the game than me talk about it too. Anyway, I have merch too. It's just a joke, essentially. But yeah, if you like jokes, that's my merch and my life. Am I right? Okay, let's keep going. So moving on from that, we get to community news. Yeah, we'll come to that. We're going to do Redacted first. Redacted, of course, is my hobby. You would have seen these guys last week. I've sprayed them. There you go. It's taken me a week and I sprayed them. Good stuff. These are Custodians, Kit Bash with Grey Knights, that I will play as Warp Coven in Kill Team. So there you go. That's the level they're at. Is it confusing? No. Why would you question that? Likewise, I managed to spray up my Helion Void Dancer proxy team. They're all in some crazy poses, and I'm cool with it. I'm down for it. I have no issues. It's very clear who's who has what. Nice. We then go over to my Drukhari team. Now, I had known that... Okay. So, obviously, we just saw the Drukhari stuff released. And... Okay. Oh, man. How to... The Drukhari models, Hand of the Archon. Oh man, oh, I should have taken notes because they've got me flustered, lads. Okay, how can I say this correctly? The Hand of the Archon. Okay, I personally like the Drukhari aesthetic. Nice, good. However, Kill Team in general, I think, has an amazing range of models. Alright? Except, there are two, in my opinion, bad sprues. The first one, and the worst one, is the Phobos expansion sprue. I think, looking at that, if you do not like Phobos, not only does that sprue not change what you think of Phobos, or Marines in general, but also, in addition to that, it almost doesn't change the models that you're putting on the board. They could have been regular, like Phobos, genuinely. Okay? Cool. So, moving on from that, from what we've seen, maybe it will all change when we get it in our hands, but I don't think so. We then have the Drukhari Hand of the Archon expansion sprue. It looks boring, and the additions they've made, although potentially having very interesting lore implications, do not change anyone's view on the Drukhari models. If you did not like Drukhari, this sprue will not make you look a second time at Drukhari. Therefore, I felt very confident in the fact that I wanted to go ahead and just proxy the entire team, just like I did with Phobos. With the Phobos models, I went out and I bought the cool Reaver Lieutenants and Sergeants, and I took an Eliminator to be the marksman, etc. Well, with this team, and there's a secondary reason which we'll talk about in just a moment, in a few hobby slides times, there was very clearly a rack model. So instead of waiting for that model to come, I just used a rack because I had one lying around. There was very clearly a witch model. Well, instead of using the witch model, I just used a witch because I had one lying around. I had already made the decision that I wanted to have an actual Archon as the leader. So when we then saw that the, I think they called it an Arch Sybarite. Yeah, so the Arch Sybarite, I wanted to make an actual Archon. So when we saw that the Arch Sybarite had a blast pistol that paired with a poison sword, we can pretty easily work out, from what we know with Kill Team, that the alternative build for that would be a splinter pistol with an agonizer. The agonizer tends to be a power weapon in stats. So I was like, well, okay, we roughly know what these things mean, which means that actually for my Arch Sybarite, yes, I do want the blast pistol loadout, which means I've gone with the blast pistol. And here you see, I could have used the literal same, model or arm that was shown in the shots. I did have that because I have a Cavalite Warrior sprue, but instead I wanted to get a little bit funky. So instead of using the actual poison sword or even the husk blade that the Archon model comes with, I decided to use a spare Demi Clavex from an incubi sprue, which I also had lying around. I didn't know what to do at all for the dude with a bird. I thought, dude with a bird, okay, I'll just wait. I don't have a spare bird. I'm just going to wait. But then I was browsing around and I remembered there's an Inquisitor with a funky looking bird. Boom. He even had that. You see that Inquisitor on the right? Literally just a head swap. Boom, done. Amazing. Aren't I a god? Yes, love it. So that, and that's clear. He's the dude with the bird. Nice. And likewise, so we also see then, homunculus. Who's the homunculus? Well, obviously it's the guy that has the syringe, the poison needle syringe thing. Guy holding just a big thing of grenades. That's the guy that holds grenades. Boom, easy, done. It was also hypothesized before we saw everything last week, or, on Friday at the LVO previews, that I was leaking what the Drukhari team was going to be, because I was, if you look at last week's intel drop, you'll see that I was building some Drukhari models and they were Phobos, right? And people were saying, oh, he's clearly just building them early. He knows. Despite my protestations, I genuinely didn't. And for proof, here we go. These are those same Phobos models who are on 32mm bases and are put on cork so that they are tall enough to count as Phobos. If not taller. There you go. I did not reuse any models. That Phobos team is that Phobos team. And this team that I built over the last 2 days are that team. There you go. I just wanted to prove that. When I was building the Phobos, I knew nothing. Even though I built a homunculus, a dude with a grenade, a dude with a shredder, a dude with a dark lance. It's like a dude with a bird, an Archon. I had no idea. And since then, as you can tell, they all still exist and I have built the additional ones. I have to clear my name. That's all. Further to that, I started building other things as well. Now, this is going to look a little bit more questionable. So if we look at the back, I got hyped on some Sisters of Battle, as you can tell, because I wanted to build up... We'll talk about why in a sec, but basically I wanted to build up some shield dudes because we know that they announced it on stream that the Arbites team is going to have the ability to build 10 guys with shields. But we also know probably can't run 10 dudes with shields in the kill team, right? But I wanted to make sure that if you can, I had the spare bodies. So I've only painted up 4, but I obviously have another 3 on sprue next to me. Chances of me wanting to use 7 sprue dudes instead of the specialists, shield dudes instead of the specialists, very, very slim. I also have this Inquisitor who, he's just going to be the leader. I don't even care what the leader is actually built with. This is my leader for the Arbites because that is way cooler. We also know, so it was revealed. So at LVO, so hold up. Okay, online we got a specific preview, okay, for the new teams. Great. There were people that were at LVO and apparently, they got to see the models in person and they got to see more than we did online. And they said there were multiple gunners. Now this started to freak me out, okay? So I was like, oh my god, I need to build more gunners. I need more bodies. So what fits with the Arbites? Well, they kind of essentially have very, very, very similar armor to Sisters of Battle. They certainly have the same Salet style helmets. So I've got the extra shield bodies covered by my enforcers here, my enforcer subjugators. I've got a leader covered by an awesome looking Inquisitor, and then extra gunner bodies covered by Sisters of Battle. Now I don't know what is coming, so I've had to guess. As you can tell, you just used the Sisters of Battle Heavy Flamer and the Sisters of Battle Heavy Bolter. We did see a Heavy Stubber that heavy bolter totally counts as that. Easy. And then I decided that I wanted to continue and go ahead and rebuild my novitiates team. Because I've never played my novitiates because I feel they're a little bit awkward the way I've done them. So I've taken these Sisters of Battle bodies and I've just put them onto 28mm bases, and I'm going to build that up at some point in the future so I can maybe play novitiates. And that's it. Now, why am I doing all of this? You know me, guys, I hate hobby, but that's not true. I hate painting. I don't mind building, kit bashing, great, love it. But painting, I really don't get much joy from it, if I'm honest. So why am I doing this? Because play on tabletop. I'm going to them on the 8th of February. And we're going to record things. We're going to record at least one battle report. And in theory, we're going to record a how to play kill team, which is going to be cool. However, the hope is that we will also have the new box in our hands, and so we can pre-record some content so that a battle report, so that it can release on release day. Because that is roughly the kind of time when, that's the correct-ish time when Soul Shackle should be in our hands. But we don't know. And because we don't know, and I can confidently tell you this, I do not have Soul Shackle yet. I do not have the rules, and I haven't even been sent an email to say your review copy is on the way, which means I have zero clue, not only just when it's going to turn up, but if it will turn up at all. Yeah, I don't know. GW's been a little bit shaky about sending me review copies lately, which is, a challenge for getting review day content out. So I don't know if I'm getting Soul Shackle. However, it's entirely possible, and because it hasn't turned up yet, this could be what happens, that, my review copy turns up on the 7th of February. And I have to suddenly, quickly, build 2 full teams. Well, you know what? Great, I've already done the Drukhari. And I'm a little bit of the way through to hopefully having enough bodies that I only have to build the specialists from the Arbites. And then all I have to do, I have like a 20-hour flight, and I can learn the rules on the flight. Because I want to make sure that I give play on tabletop the best possible Glass Half Dead kill team experience. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Whew. Right. Well, that's my hobby. It's been too much. Genuinely. My entire weekend was hobby. And yes, all I did was these 6 models, 5 models, and these 8 models. There you go. It was way too much. Moving on. Tournaments for the next weekend. It's the 4th and 5th of February. We've got something happening in Fremont, Ann Arbor, Schenectady? Who knows? What are they smoking on that one? Schenectady. If this was an English town, it would be Schenectady. We just run it together. Schenectady, whatever. And then we have Durham. I don't know. So obviously, I assume that a lot of places are essentially taking the weekend after Las Vegas Open off. And if we go over to Europe, kind of seems like we're doing the same over here. We're chilling out, that's for sure. After the big London tournament and after the big Madrid, Spain tournaments, everyone's just chilling. However, we do have something in Leicester, in Barcelona, in Galicia, and in Rome. But then there's a little addition. So I've got London. There's a 20-man tournament, not on the 4th of 5th of February, but on the day this video goes live, the 31st. No, is there a 31st of this month? Yes, there is. That goes live on the 31st of January in London. It's a beginner tournament. It's already sold out, so you can't get tickets here, and it's being played at 7 Dials, which is still just in London. But it's a 20-man beginner tournament, which is really cool. Personally, I quite like beginner tournaments because inevitably, those are people that are interested enough in Kill Team that they could continue on in Kill Team. And that means more players for all, so that's great. Then, Copenhagen, that's Ye Olde Denmark, has a 21-player league. Now, I had a quick read about this, and I thought I'd shout it out here. Just because, you know, again, this whole video is supposed to be letting the community know things are happening, and there happens to be a focus on tournaments, because why not? But yeah, leagues exist, narrative exists, beginner tournaments, campaign, what am I talking about? Yep. Anyway, this is a 4-month league that's taking place in Copenhagen. I think you have to play like 8 games over the 4 months. I would hope. Oh, so I read it, and then somebody just wins at the end. I would hope that Copenhagen capitalizes on that and manages to do some sort of, I would say, mid-league and then end-league tournament. You know, like big event as opposed to just a league. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. If you're getting 21 players every week, great. You don't need a tournament. That is every week's a tournament. So that's awesome. We then go on to the rest of the world. And it's just Chiyoda City in Japan has a nice little 10-man tournament. I don't normally put the number of players before the event goes live, but Chiyoda City is 10 people and it's already maxed out. That's the limit, so I figure why not. And that's Japan. Good to see that region of the world doing good stuff. And then Regina, Canada, in Saskatchewan, whatever it's called. And they are a 16-player tournament, which is awesome to see. And with that said, we're at the end of the video, and you know what that means, everybody? That means a big triple hello. Wow, such wholesomeness, guys. If you made it to the end of the video, I'd just like to give you a big thank you. Thank you so much. I genuinely hope that these weekly videos are useful to not just you, but to the whole community. And I think they're awesome. Okay, well, with that done, goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.